I don't. The simple present negative is don't, doesn't. Plus verb. Coffee? No thanks. I don't drink coffee. I don't like my job. He doesn't like his job. She doesn't drink a coffee. She doesn't drink coffee. She doesn't drink coffee. She doesn't drink coffee. He doesn't like his job. Positive. I work. We like. You do. They have. He works. She likes. It does. It does. It has. I don't. I don't work. We don't work. You don't work. They don't like. He doesn't work. She doesn't like. It doesn't do. I drink coffee, but I don't drink tea. Sue drinks tea. She drinks tea, but she doesn't drink coffee. But she doesn't drink coffee. You don't work very hard. You don't work very hard. You don't work very hard. We don't watch television very often. We don't watch television very often. We don't watch television very often. 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 The weather is usually nice. The weather is usually nice. It doesn't rain very often. It doesn't rain very often. Gary and Nicole don't know many people. Gary and Nicole don't know many people. Remember, I don't, we don't, you don't, they don't, he doesn't, she doesn't, it doesn't. I don't like football. He doesn't like football. I don't like Fred. I don't like Fred. And Fred doesn't like me. My car doesn't use much gas. My car doesn't use much gas. My car doesn't use much gas. Sometimes he is late, but it doesn't happen very often. Sometimes he's late. But it doesn't happen very often. We use don't, doesn't, don't like, doesn't speak, doesn't do, etc. I don't like to wash the car. I don't do it very often. I don't like to wash the car. I don't do very often. Sarah speaks Spanish, but she doesn't speak Italian. Bill doesn't do his job very well. Paula doesn't usually have breakfast. Paula doesn't usually have breakfast. Paula doesn't usually have breakfast. Exercise. This. Write the negative. I play the piano very well. I don't play the piano very well. Jane plays the piano very well. Jane doesn't plays the piano very well. Jane doesn't plays the piano very well. They know my phone number. They don't know my phone number. They don't know my phone number. We work very hard. We don't work very hard. Mike has a car. Mike doesn't has a car. Mike doesn't has a car. You do the same thing every day. You do the same thing every day. You don't the same thing. You Don't the same thing every day. Study the information and write sentences with like. Do you like? Bill and Lois, Carol, you. Bill and Lois like classical music. Carol. Carol doesn't like classical music. Carol doesn't like classical music. I like classical music. Bill and Lois played boxing이라고 했네. boxing. Bill and Lois like boxing. Bill and Lois don't like boxing. Carol likes boxing. 맞나? Carol likes boxing. 맞냐고. Carol likes boxing. I don't like boxing. Horror movie. Bill and Lois like horror movies. Bill and Lois like horror movies. Carol doesn't like horror movies. I don't like horror movies. Okay? Write about yourself. Use I never, or I a lot, or I don't very often. I never watch TV, or I watch TV a lot, or I don't watch TV very often. I don't watch TV very often. Go to the theater. I never go to the theater, or I go to the theater a lot. I go to the theater a lot, or I don't go to the theater very often. I don't go to the theater very often. Ride a bicycle. I never ride a bicycle. I never ride a bicycle. Or I ride a bicycle a lot. I ride a bicycle a lot. Or I don't ride a bicycle very often. 이것만 쓰면 되나? Eat in restaurant. I never eat in restaurant. Or I eat in restaurant a lot. Or I don't eat in restaurant very often. I never travel by train. I travel by train a lot. I travel by train a lot. I don't travel by train very often. I don't travel by train. I don't travel by train very often. Complete the sentences. All of them are negative. Use don't, doesn't, plus these verbs. Cost, go, know, read, see, use, wear. I buy a newspaper. I buy a newspaper every day. I buy a newspaper every day, but sometimes I don't read it. I buy a newspaper every day, but sometimes I don't read it. Hmm. Paul has a car, but he don't use it very often. But he don't use it very but he doesn't use it very often. But he Paul has a car, but he doesn't use it very often. Paul and his friends. Paul and his friends like movies. Paul and his friends like movies, but they don't Paul and his friends like movies, but they don't go to the movie theater very often. Amanda is married. Married. Amanda is married, but she doesn't. But she doesn't wearing a ring. But she doesn't wearing a ring. But she doesn't wear a ring. But she doesn't wear a ring. Wear a ring. I much about politics. I'm not interested in it. I don't I don't I don't know much about politics. 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 I'm not interested. I'm not interested in it. 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 The Regent Hotel isn't expensive. It doesn't cost much to stay there. The Regent Hotel isn't expensive. The Regent Hotel isn't expensive. It costs it costs it doesn't cost us it doesn't cost much to stay there. It doesn't cost much to stay there. It it doesn't cost much to stay there. It doesn't cost much to stay there. It doesn't cost too much to stay there. Brian lives near us, but we don't see him very often. Brian lives near us. Brian lives near us, but we don't see him very often. Put the verbs into the correct form. Put the verbs into the correct form. Positive or negative. Margaret speaks 4 languages: English, Japanese, Arabic, and Spanish. Wow. I don't like my job. It's very boring. Where's Martin? I'm sorry. Where's Martin? I'm sorry. I don't know. Where is he? I'm sorry, I don't know where is he. I'm sorry, I don't know where is he. I'm sorry, I don't know where is he. Sue is a very quiet person. Sue is a very quiet person. She doesn't talk very much. She doesn't talk very much. Andy drinks a lot of coffee. Andy drinks a lot of coffee. It's his favorite drink. It's not true. It's not true. I don't believe it. It's not true. I don't believe it. That's a very beautiful picture. That's a very beautiful picture. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. Mark is a vegetarian. Mark is a vegetarian. He doesn't eat meat. He doesn't eat meat.